15 years of sacrifice ended with my sons telling a judge their stepdad was their real dad. Their adoption legally erased their $2 million trust fund. And I let the money revert to me while they celebrated their betrayal. Hey Reddit. I'm Daniel, a 48-year-old guy out here in Austin, Texas. I spent 15 years raising my 2 sons alone, doing everything I could to give them a future. And then one day, they stood in court and chose another man over me. What they didn't realize is that their choice set off a chain of events none of us could have predicted. Let's just say, it didn't end the way they thought it would. You don't raise kids for 15 years alone expecting them to spit in your face. But that's exactly how it went down. Ethan was 17, Caleb was 16. I was the one who got up at 5 in the morning, packed their lunches, sat through those boring school concerts, and worked 2 jobs so they didn't go without. Their mom bailed early on and came back later with her upgrade. Some clown named Rick, who walked around like he invented fatherhood. And where do we end up after all those years? Family court. I'll never forget sitting there on those stiff benches. My boys sat across from me, both wearing those dumb grins teenagers have when they think they've outsmarted everyone. Next to them was my ex-wife, all smug, like she just won the lottery. Rick had his arm draped over the back of the bench like he owned the place. The judge hadn't even walked in yet, and I could see her leaning close to Ethan and Caleb, whispering like a coach drawing up a last-minute play. Her lips moved quick, Ethan nodded. Caleb laughed under his breath like the whole thing was a joke. That was the first punch in the gut. They weren't even nervous. It was like they'd rehearsed betraying me. The judge finally came in and asked the basic stuff. Ethan, Caleb, are you sure about this adoption? Do you understand what it means? Ethan straightened up like he was giving a speech. Yes, Your Honor. Rick is the real father in our lives. He's shown us what being a dad actually means. My ears rang. Real father. I wanted to stand up and scream. Who stayed up with you when you had a fever? Who took double shifts so you'd never miss Christmas presents? But I didn't. I just sat there, jaw tight. Because I wasn't about to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. Then it was Caleb's turn. And this kid, man, he pulled something from his pocket and I instantly recognized it. A photo. One of the old ones I kept in the living room. The 3 of us at the park when he was like 8. I thought it went missing months ago. He held it up, ripped it clean down the middle, and let it drop right onto my lap without saying a word. Then he walked across the courtroom and stood by Rick like it was nothing. I can't explain the kind of silence that falls inside your chest when your own son does something like that. It's not loud. It's not even painful at first. It's just empty. The judge banged the gavel. Adoption approved. That was it. 15 years of my life erased in less than 2 minutes. My boys ran to Rick like he was some hero. He wrapped them up in his arms, grinning at me over their shoulders like he just won a championship. My ex-wife leaned into him, eyes glinting with victory. I left without saying a word. Walking out of that courthouse felt like leaving a funeral. Except the casket was my own damn effort. When I got home, the place felt too quiet. I sat at the table and opened my laptop. For years, I'd kept a separate account tucked away. Every double shift, every weekend job, I saved what I could. The number glared at me, $447,000. That was the nest egg. The proof that I wasn't cheap, just smart. Money meant to help them through college, weddings, life. Now, it just sat there mocking me. Here's the part they didn't know. Back when their grandfather passed, he left behind a trust. $2 million. To be split between Ethan and Caleb when they turned 21. But there was a catch. If they were ever legally adopted by someone else, that money reverted back to the bloodline. And the bloodline was me. Not my ex-wife. Not Rick. Me. So when that gavel came down in court, legally erasing me as their father, they also erased themselves from their grandfather's will. The trust snapped back into my hands. Days later, I watched from my truck as they all carried balloons and cake into Rick's house. Celebrating. Thinking they won. Thinking they'd finally buried me for good. And all the while, $2.4 million sat in my account. Every dime meant for them. Now mine. I didn't throw it in their faces. Didn't call. Didn't gloat. I just disappeared from their lives. And let them enjoy their victory. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is silence. And watching them celebrate a win that was really their biggest loss. That's the story. 15 years of sacrifice, erased in a courtroom. Two sons who thought their stepdad was their real dad. And me? I walked away with everything they gave up. Not because I planned it, but because fate has a dark sense of humor.